What's up, you sick mother bluffers? I'm back at Deuce's for some home game action. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go. We're 8-handed in this 5-2 bomb pot. Top flop comes 3 king 9 2 spades. Bottom comes 5 jack deuce rainbow. I'm in a small blind with queen queen 3 3 deuce. I've got a set of threes and the second nut flush draw on top. Not much on bottom. Action checks around. Top turn is a 7. Bottom is a jack. Not much changing on either board for me. Action checks to the hijack who bets 25. I make a debatable call. Big blind and middle position player come along. Top river is a king and bottom is a queen. I river a boat on both boards, threes full of kings and queens full of jacks. I lead out for 100. Middle position calls and the low jack calls all in for 65. Going to showdown, the low jack shows king 7 for a better boat on top. My boat on bottom is good. We chop. In this hand, 3 players limp before the hijack raises to 10. I'm in the cutoff and I look down at king queen suited. I 3-bet to 40. The button to my left, 3 bets all in for 138. Action falls back to me. This particular player has been consistently jamming on me after I open or 3-bet. For some reason, you always move on me. Alright, fuck it, man. I'll call for the action. 138. I decide it's time to look them up. I make the call. Let's go to a run out. I completely missed. Oh, yeah, you had me crushed. You had me completely crushed. Yeah, nice hand. Well, I fucked around and I found out. In this one, 2 players limp and I upgrade to ace king suited. I raise to 15 and 4 players call. We're headed 5 ways to a flop. It's above average. 10-7-3 of diamonds. I flopped nuts. Action checks to me and I am slow playing these nuts. I c-bet for 30 and the player in under the gun is the only one to make the call. Turn is a 7. It pairs the board. I don't give a fuck. If my opponent flopped a set, I would fully expect them to check raise. They didn't. And if they have a goofy hand like 10-7 or 7-3, well, congratulations to them. They're about to stack me. I continue for 60 and they fold. We're 6-handed in this Dramaha 0 bomb pot. In this game, you use 2 cards in your hand to make the best 5-card hand on the board, and for the down hand, it's the opposite of 49. You're trying to collect as many face cards as possible. They're worth 0, hence the name, because 0 is the nuts. Aces are worth 1, deuces are worth 2, and so forth. Flop comes 8-9-5 rainbow. I'm in middle position with king, king, queen, jack, 8. I'm playing my pair of kings on the board, unlikely to be best by the river, and I currently have a score of 8. Everybody checks to the button, who bets 15, and everybody calls. Lol. Heading into draw time, I throw away to 8 and I draw a queen. I have the nuts down. The turn is a 4 of spades, so no improvement on the board. Action checks to me. I decide to check with the intention of check raising. It checks all the way to the button and continues for 120. Music to my ears. Oh, by the way, when I say music to my ears, this is what I mean. I'm glad we're getting to know each other a little bit better. Action falls to the big blind who calls for their last 16. I raise all in out of turn because I'm an idiot. Under the gun folds. Cutoff calls. Headed to showdown. Big blind shows pocket 5s for a set of 5s. It's no good because the cutoff shows 6-7 for a straight. So I'm going to chop with the cutoff. When I announced I had 0, everyone at the table lost their mind. Oh my god, you got 0? No way! What? I've never seen anyone get 0. Kevin, the dealer, messaged me the next day to say that was the second time ever he saw someone draw 0 in 4 years of dealing this game, so I'm still waiting for my first royal flush on the vlog, but in the meantime, you get 0. I know nobody gives a shit about this game, but whatever. You didn't ask for it, you got it. More bomb pot action. In this one, we're playing regular Dramaha. What's regular Dramaha, you ask? Oh, never mind, nobody asked. I'm in the cutoff with ace, ace, king, knight 4 with the nut diamond draw, and 6 of us see a flop of 7-4 jack. I've got aces down and I flop a whole lot of nothing on the board. Action checks around, I draw 3, turn comes the 10 of spades, and I pick up a third ace. I now have trips down. Action checks to the undergun player who bets 20, middle position calls. Trips down is good, but nowhere near the nuts, so I just call. Big blind comes along, 4 ways to the river, which comes the 7 of diamonds. Big blind leads for 80. Middle position pots it for 350. Kind of a gross spot, but they drew 3 cards, so it's improbable, but not impossible, that they have my trips beat. Since everyone just called on the turn, I'm going to assume my trips are good, so I make the call. Big blind folds. Middle position shows pocket 10s for a boat on board. My trips are good. We chop. In this one, the undergun straddle is on. There's 2 limps before the cutoff raises. 211. Button calls, small blind folds. I'm in the big blind with... Oh shit, I didn't fill my cards. But let's pretend it was on purpose and play the mystery hand game.
Mystery. What is it? I couldn't care less. Hey, that's not really cool. Shut the fuck up.
I call. Under the gun, straddler folds. Middle position and hijack limpers make the call. We're going 5 ways to flop, which comes 4 jack 6 rainbow. I check and action checks around. Turn is the king of hearts. I lead out for 40 and the button is the only player to make the call. River is the 8 of spades. I bet 80 and the button makes the fold. Comment below what hand you think I had, suits included. If somebody guesses correctly, I'll give you 50 bucks. Imagine all the things you could do for 50 bucks. Barely fill up your gas tank, buy 2 days worth of groceries, not see your favorite band play live, just living that high life, man. I don't give a shit if you're a subscriber or not, I'm just desperate for comments. I'll announce the winner, if any, in the next vlog. Back in the drama streets on this one, the flop comes ace king 4 and I'm under the gun with jack 10 7 3. I flop a gut shot straight draw and I've got a pair of jacks down. Action checks around. Heading to draw time, I draw 3. I get dealt ace king queen and the turn comes the 5 of spades. I still got a pair of jacks down, but I now have 2 pair on the board to go along with my gut shot. Small blind leads for 20. Myself and middle position player make the call. We go 3 ways to the river, which comes the ace of hearts. I river the nut straight. Also, I block some other straights with 2 jacks in my hand. The small blind leads for 30. With the nuts on board, blockers to getting quartered, and nothing much down, I decide to raise to 125. Middle position seems unimpressed and raises all in for 164. Small blind calls for their remaining 90. I call the middle position players all in. We go to showdown, and here's today's little pro tip. Blockers don't mean shit in these games because both of my opponents have the nut straight. The small blind, who was the shortest stack, also has a flush in their hand. Thankfully for me, middle position player decide to go for it with only ace high in their hand, so my pair of jacks is good. I'm making nowhere near enough from these vlogs to explain how we chop this 100 ways, but in summary, I end up profiting around 20 bucks from this hand. In this one, there's a button straddle to 5, under the gun calls before I look down at 6-5 suited in middle position. It's been hours since I've seen a premium. I've got card dead and beer goggles, so this suited connector looks pretty damn sexy to me. I raise to 20 and I get called by the cutoff and the button. We go 3 ways to a flop of deuce, king, queen, 2 hearts. I don't have quite enough courage juice in me to c-bet here. I check and both my opponents check. I struggle to contain my excitement as their turn comes the 6 of spades. Not really though. I know that suited connectors are played to make straights or flushes and that getting married to them with a middling pair is the downfall of many a fish. That doesn't stop me from betting 60 bucks, clearly indicating to my opponents I'm looking for folds here. The cutoff doesn't get the message and calls, the button gets out of the way. Heads up to the river, which comes the ace of diamonds. I think the cutoff has hands like missed flush draws, under pairs to the queen, and maybe a weak-ish top pair. Most of these hands beat me. The ace is good for me as the preflop aggressor, so I'm going to put them to the test for 175, and they snap fold. Time for some 5-2-2 where 8-handed and top board comes 2-3 king rainbow, bottom 5 jack 6 rainbow. I'm in the cutoff with king 6 6 5 4, so I flop an open-ended straight draw on top. That's being generous given that 3 of my outs are dead with 2 6s in my hand and 1 on bottom, and I flop middle set on bottom. Action checks to the hijack who bets 30. I have a pretty easy call. The button raises to 60. The hijack folds to the min raise. I'm going nowhere and I call. Heads up to the turn, which comes a 5 on top and a 10 of clubs on bottom. I turn the nut straight on top and I pick up a flush draw with 4-5 of clubs. I have no idea why, but I check. We're going to say it was the check raise and the button checks back. The river comes an 8 on top and a queen on bottom. Now I decide to lead for 125, and after some deliberation, the button folds. The button is a friend of the vlog and they asked me what I had. I told them to watch the vlog, so Warren, if you're watching, now you know. In this one, there's an under the gun straddle. It folds to the cutoff who opens to 15. I look down at 5-4 suited on the button. You know what's coming. I 3-bet to 50. Small blind folds. Big blind casually cold calls the 3-bet before the under the gun straddler ships it in for 85. Apparently that does not reopen the action, so the cutoff, myself, and the button all call the extra 35. We go 4 ways with 1 player all in to a flop of king 9 king rainbow. Action checks around. The turn is the 7 of hearts. Action checks around. The river is the 9 of hearts. I river the flush. Action checks to me, and I don't even bet because I don't think I get value for much. Alright, dealer, ship it to daddy. Wait, what? Under the gun shipped it with Queen 8 of hearts? Fuck! In this one, there's an under the gun straddle to 10, middle position calls, folds to me on the button, I look down at King Jack suited. I raise to 40, and both the straddler and limper call. We go 3 ways to a flop of Queen 9-4 2 spades. They both check, plus second nut flush draw, plus gut shot straight draw equals c-bet to 65. They both fold. We're playing Dramaha in this one. I'm in middle position with King, Queen, Queen, Knight 5, and the flop comes 5, Knight, Ace, 2 diamonds. I got a pair of queens down, and I flop the nut flush draw. Action checks to the button who bets 10. They get called by the small blind, big blind, and yours truly. I draw 2, keeping my queens and nut flush draw. Turn comes the deuce of clubs, and I draw 2 fours, improving my hand to 2 pair down. Action once again checks to the button who bets 35, and once again, the small blind, big blind, and myself make the call. The river is the 10 of diamonds. I river the nuts. Blinds check to me, I lead for 150. Button is the only player to make the call. They got trips down. We chop. Last hand of the vlog, we're playing 5-2-2. Top comes 5-9-6 2 spades. Bottom 4 King 5 2 clubs. I'm in the cutoff with Ace 6-5-3-3. I flop 2 pair on top and an open ender on bottom. Action checks to me and I bet 35. Middle position calls all in for 23 and the low jack calls. We go 3 ways with 1 player all in to the turn, which comes a jack on top, 7 of diamonds on bottom. I turn a 7 high straight on bottom. I fire for 150, which gets the low jack out of the hand, so I take down the side pot. I go against the all in player to the river, which comes a 3 of diamonds on top, giving me bottom set, and a 10 of clubs on bottom, giving me the nut flush. Did I just river my way into a scoop? Nope. My set is no good, they've got a straight on top. My straight on bottom is good. We chop. Roll out the outro. Alright, so that's gonna wrap this session. I was in for 600, out for 500, for a loss of 100. The last couple of weeks I've been very busy for my family, and I hadn't played poker in the last like 12 days, which is kind of a long stretch for me. So the goal tonight was really to have fun, mix it up, and try to make a fun vlog in the process. So taking a 100 loss is totally acceptable. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but if you did, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Really helps the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck at the tables, and I'll catch you in the next one.